Hello everybody, how is it going? Welcome to Flawless Rage 2 and welcome to your Sunday stream of House Flipper 2. We are here tonight to carry on that bloody caravan park. So without any further ado, let's get into it. I do have an announcement today and also a talking point, so we'll get to them in due course. So, there we go. I hope everybody's weekend has been good. So we'll get into it. So let's get to this caravan park and see what else we are going to do with the thing tonight. Right, it's taken shape. It is taking shape. We did our Irish one for St. Paddy's Day last week. So that I think was the last one we built, and we also built like a kiddies play park area. So let's see what we can do tonight. Probably build another maybe couple of places. We shall see. Right, okay, we are here. This is the play park we did the other night. As you see, we're kitted out in there, looking very, very nice. In here is our Irish themed one, which is Lady Leprechaun's Hole is the name of it. Oh yes, good old Lady Leprechaun, how we love you. Right, so I think we should start building another one over here, I think. So we'll get a bit of space in between, and then we've got a little bit of shit to clean up here, so we'll get that all tidied out of our way. And yes guys, we do have a talking point tonight, and it's a doozy. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And like I said, we also have an announcement as well coming for tonight. Right, I just want to get all this filled in first. Right. Get that gone. Get that gone. Cool, cool. Right. Lovely. Okay, so we've got a plant to pick up there. So we can build one here, but we still need a little bit more of this to be filled in, really. Just get what we can done. Okay. Nice chunk of it there being filled in. Right. Okay, I think we can start building. I think we've fucked around for enough. Right. Okay, just pick up any crap what's knocking around. Okay. So obviously we want a bit of space. So we'll leave this little bit here. And then we'll start building, say, here. Right, first we better do how long the thing's going to be. This could be, you know, it needs to be sort of like long enough. That's what she said. Right, okay, let's get another one on top of there. So yeah, this is coming together. It's been a slow process, but it definitely is coming together. Should we do another layer, or should we keep it a tour? Well, I think we'll keep it 2, should we? Yeah, fuck it, let's keep it 2. Right. Okay, let's start building some walls then. Right, so let's take it a little bit higher than we normally would. Because these have got quite low ceilings. But yes, there we go. But like I said, we've got an announcement tonight and also a talking point. I'll wait to see if anybody comes in so we can start our talking point. Because it is a fucking doozy this week. It's one of them ones that's going to make you go, oh, for fuck's sake. That was tall enough. Yeah, that should be alright. Okay. Let's get here. Build our wall up. There we go. Lovely. All going well so far. Yeah, because the rest of this has got to be filled in with grass and stuff. So it might just be maybe another couple of caravans on here, or this could be the last one, or I don't know yet. We'll see. There ain't going to be as many as I originally planned. But that's just how it goes sometimes, you know, when you're building on a game like this. Still, it has been fun to do this, you know. It's been nice to, you know, get these things all built up. There we go. That could be a little wider, couldn't it? That honestly could be a little fucking wider, I think. It's just not, hasn't got that width inside. Once again, that's what she said. So let's knock this wall down and we'll quickly expand the thing. Right. Okay. Knock this one down and we'll carry on with it. Let's make it wider because it needs to be wider. Oh, hello. Didn't mean to hit that. That's all right. It can be repaired. Right. In the chat, my brother, Mr. Boston Tea Party, is in. Hello, bro. Welcome to the stream. Hope you had a good weekend. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Righty-ho. So, we'll get this wall knocked down. We'll make it a little bit wider. Then I'll start with the announcement first, what we have tonight, and then I'll get onto the talking point. Right. Okay, so yeah, that's going to need to be expanded out. So let me just repair this. How was mine? You'll find out in a second, my brother. You will find out in a second. Okay, so first and foremost, this coming Thursday will be a wrestling stream. But after that, I won't be streaming until the 12th of April. Due to the kids being on their Easter holidays, and I'm going to be spending a lot more time with my wife. So yeah, like late nights and movies and stuff like that. So yeah, I won't be having time to come on and do any streams, but I'll be back on the 12th of April, which is the day, funnily enough, after my birthday. So yes. I shall be, what, 42? Fucking hell, I'll be 40 fucking 2. Shit, fam. Right, yeah, but I'll be 42 when the after Thursday, when you see me again. So yeah, Join us for the wrestling stream on Thursday. It's going to be another good show. It's going to be a better show this time. Now I have understood what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know why they change shit up every year, but there you go. But you got Flipper tonight. I'll be here on Tuesday, and I'll also be back on Thursday. Now, if this place is done or not by Tuesday, it will be sold. So that should be quite an interesting one. So we do have our work cut out for us. That's why I want to build a couple of places tonight if I can. Just build them and then decorate them Tuesday, because we've got a hell of a lot of grass to put down. Okay, so yeah, bear that in mind. After Thursday, 12th of April, I'll be off until then. A little spring break, if you will. Not that kind of spring break, though, unfortunately. Okay, on to our talking point. Okay, so it is like I said, it's a doozy. It is a fucking doozy this week. And it all started, I mean, until, yeah, well, put it this way. When I woke up yesterday morning, I didn't have a talking point for tonight. Now I have. So, you always get one, don't you? Always get one what? A neighbour. That one person. You've heard me speak about my neighbours before in the past. The one who coughs, who fucking, when she laughs, it sounds like she's coughing. The ones who you can hear fucking each other through the wall. Well, we're on to a different one now. The hoity-toity, you know, kind, right? Let me explain. I've nearly been in my house a year. Okay? Haven't really done much to the garden. Hasn't even decorated the house. Just enjoyed the place. We waited long enough for it, so we've just enjoyed the place. So, we decided to take out this really large, I guess you could call it a shrub, you know, and it is quite a big shrub that I have in my garden. Okay, so we decided to start cutting it down. That doesn't meet with my neighbour's approval. We recently had some strong winds here. And we had, you know, it was just really fucking windy, and so a fence panel blew, and she needed to wanted to get it repaired. So I was like, right, okay, that's cool, get it repaired, whatever. And so she said because I was outside yesterday, she caught me while I was outside. And I was like, right, okay, absolutely fine. She put her head over the fence. And she said, I've got a guy coming tomorrow to do the fence, so will it be alright if he comes in your garden? And I was like, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Because all he had to really do was replace a post. Even though it took him nearly 3 fucking hours to do it, but you know. But I spoke to him today, he's a nice guy. And so, yeah, that's kind of where things started, really. So then, outside my back door, literally, I mean, I could even look out of my window right now and I can see it. There is a fence out there. And apparently this fence belongs to my neighbour. Here I was thinking it was council property, but I digress, right? So, here I am thinking this fence is the council's, and apparently it's not. So then, my neighbour says, are you trimming that back, the shrub? And I was like, no, I'm taking it out. We're going to be doing a memorial garden for our fathers who have lost me and my wife. And, you know, that's something that we had the idea of doing, we wanted to do, and that's sort of like a biggest part of it. Like when you go outside, that's the first thing you'll see. And so we decided, right, okay, let's take out the shit what's in there, this big shrub included, and let's do it there. Let's make it there. Well, first my neighbour kicked off because I think she's like really into the environment and stuff like that, so you can tell what I'm going to be fucking saying here. She's like, oh no, you'll be taking all of the habitat away from the wildlife and stuff like that. I was like, fuck the wildlife. You know, there's something I want to do here. I'm sorry, but my dad's more important than the fucking wildlife. You know, this is something that I would like to do. In a way, I was thinking, you know, butt out. But then, but she carried on about it and kept going and going and going. And so I was like, right, okay, I'll see where this is fucking going. So I left it. She became a bit snotty with me. I don't mind. I've had people snotty with me before. It's all part of the game, right? Don't really care. So then I, you know, she kept going on about that and stuff. And then one minute she's saying that, and next minute, oh, I've got to check with the council to make sure I'm allowed to take it out and stuff. And I was like, it's a fucking shrub in my garden. If I want to cut it down, I will cut the fucking thing down. Now, I have actually cut most of it down. There is a massive bit still there, though. It's a huge thing. It really is. And so I was like, right, okay. We'll just, you know, we'll just let her say what she wants to, and then she'll shut up about it. She didn't shut up about it. At all. At all. Now, I've got lights outside my house. Solar lights, garden lights. And she came round this morning once he took the post out, tapped on, because she came in my garden. I gave permission for him to come in my garden, not fucking her, right? But she came in the garden this morning and was like, I didn't know you had lights. That's my fence. Can you take your lights off my fence, please? So I was like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. So I agreed to do that. And then I was out there for a little while. I was mainly talking to the bloke who was fitting her new fence post in. But I spoke to her as well. And she was moaning about it. As an established shrub, there's no need to cut it down. There's no need to do... I was like, will you fucking let it drop? And so then I decided to, you know, I just sort of like said to my wife, look, you know, basically, what do you want to do? And my wife decided that we'll keep the fucking thing in there. Well, we decided that not for the easy way. We decided that because I actually spoke to the bloke. Now, he's an experienced gardener of over 40 years, and he said to me, I'll be honest with you, mate, you'll never get that out of there. You can cut it down, you can cut it right down to the ground if you want to, but the stump in there is going to be so big and so thick and so established that it's going to take a stump grinder to get it out of there. I was like, okay, fair enough. I thought, he's got this reputation, I will take his advice and we'll leave it for now. So I was like, right, okay. So I went out there, told him that it'll be staying, and I'll put the garden somewhere else for our dad's, which I'm going to. If I get fine enough weather, I might even start that tomorrow. And then sort of like, as soon as I sort of like that, she perked up next door, and she was sort of like, you know, and she was sort of like, okay, you can keep your lights on the fence now. And I was like, are you a child? Now, I understand that not everybody's got the money like her to buy the house. I mean, mine is rented off the council. Hers is exactly the same as mine, but she's bought and paid for it. I don't have that fucking money. I know how much these places go for, right? So she's bought the house, and apparently that's her fence. Whether it is or not, I don't know. But apparently that's her fence. So once basically she thought that she had her own way, she was like, okay, you can keep your lights up now, la-di-da-di-da. And I was like, the fuck? You know, that can't be right. You know, I think she thought that we gave in to her when we actually didn't. I took the bloke's advice, sort of like, you know, you're never going to get that out of there, you know, the stump and everything. Just took his advice because of his gardening experience. You know, so I thought, right, okay, that's fair enough. So we've decided to move the garden somewhere else, and I managed to fix everything. I was going to be ringing the council tomorrow to ask them permission to cut it down. You always get one, don't you? Everywhere you go, you always get some fucking neighbour who's up their own arse, hoity-toity, oh, you need to ask the council kind of person. You always get them, no matter where the fuck you are. I mean, I told my mum about it, and my mum said, did you tell her, I hope you told her to fuck off? And I'm like, well, no, I've got to fucking live here, you know. Not going to lie, though, it was on the tip of my tongue. But yeah. But until I basically said that we were keeping it, she was up the arse with me, everything. She came and knocked on my door this morning to say the bloke had arrived to do the panel and everything, and I was like, that's cool, not a problem, you know, no worries. You know, being gracious to let him in my garden to do it, because I could have said, well, you're not coming my side. I could have been an arsehole and said, well, you're not coming my side, you know, but I thought, well, no, job needs to get done, I'll let him in to do it. He's a nice guy anyway. And yeah, it was sort of like she was up the arse about it, had a stinking attitude about it, and I do think she's like an environmental, like wildlife kind of person. That's what she's into, because she has an excessive amount of bird houses and bird feeders in her garden. So that then leads me to believe that is what she is, you know. So yeah, that is basically, you know, that is what I've had this weekend. That is, my brother, how my weekend was. I was basically being sort of like, you know, I even upset my wife because, you know, because sort of like, well, she was like, you know, we can't do anything in our garden, can we? No matter where we fucking live. At the other place, we couldn't do much in our garden because of neighbours, and well, we didn't want to do much in that garden because the neighbours would come out and talk to you. I'm not one of the people to stand there and have a chin wag with the neighbours, especially them ones what we had. The ones we had, her who we have now, yeah, she is nice enough. I haven't had a problem with her, but I now have seen like a bit of her true colours kind of thing. Sort of like she must have her own way at things, you know. And this is true actually, because how she was talking to the bloke who put the panel, the post in, the fence post in today. You know, she was like, well, can you do this? Can you do that? And I was like, give the man a fucking chance. I mean, I know you're fucking hiring him to come out and do this job, but Jesus, you know, give the man a fucking chance. Boston says, the funny thing is you never really own your house or property. The government does. You just pay for the privilege. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But sort of like, you know, saying 1 minute, oh, it's going to disturb the habitat, you know, it's going to disturb the habitat and the wildlife and everything like that, and then sort of like saying, oh, you should check your, you know, you should check your tenancy agreement, you should ask the council if you can take it down, and then to being up the arse with me telling me to get my lights off the fence 1 minute, and then sort of like me saying I'm going to keep the bloody thing in the garden, and then sort of like, you know. The thing is, it's not overhanging her garden. It's nowhere near her garden. And then she brought up the thing about, oh, well, that's privacy for you know, me as well. You know, if that's there, there's a bit of privacy for me. Well, how is it privacy for you when it's smaller and shorter? It's tall, but it's not as tall as, say, like an upstairs bedroom window would be, you know? And she's like, you know, it's privacy for me, because what if I'm upstairs getting undressed or something and that, and you know, and sort of like, you know, the other neighbours will be able to see in. I'm just sort of like, well, close your fucking curtains then, you know. One look at you and I think they'd you know, I think they'd close the fucking curtains or throw up anyway. So, you know, but you always get them though, don't you? Neighbours like that, you know. I just hate, I mean, I'm okay with her. I've smoothed everything out and everything, you know, it's all good. But I just had to tell you that story of what happened. This happened yesterday and today this happened. Would she be something to look at in in that case? I'd rather blind myself with pepper spray. Pepper spray is the way to go. Honestly. And you know, and basically she confirmed that she'd bought the house, which I pretty much knew all along because she has this dickhead go in there doing work for her. And you see, she talks about abiding by things and checking with everybody if it's okay to do this, if it's okay to do that. Yet 9 times out of 10, most days, she has a bloke around her fucking house who's doing work for her, you know, doing all this work for her, and fucking, it's happened since last summer. I've got to sit through every day in my house. I've got to listen to fucking, you know, hammers fucking banging on the fucking walls, and I've got to listen to, you know, all that kind of shit. You know, how is actually that fucking fair on me? You know, how is that fair on me and my wife? It's not. But we have to do sort of like, you know, things what she fucking wants to. If I said to her, well, you know, what about sort of like the bloke who comes around yours and does fucking work for you then? You know, we have to sit through that shit every fucking day. I don't think it would matter. You know, she seems sort of like one of these people who sort of like, well, I'm paying for it, so I want it done the way, you know. She might have bought her house. She didn't fucking buy mine, you know. She didn't fucking buy my house, but sort of like, you know, there's things sort of like, go checking with, it's just one thing after a fucking another, it really is. So I'm playing it safe, and I'm going to build a garden over another part, which is nowhere near anything that she has. I'm allowed to do whatever the fuck I want to over there. And besides, the council wouldn't give a shit anyway if I was to take out this fucking shrub. Because at the end of the day, they don't care. You know, as long as you maintain your garden, as long as it's tidy, they couldn't give a shit. But this is what we deal with, you know. Would I say she was a bit of a Karen? There's Karen qualities there. There's definitely Karen qualities there, without a shadow of a doubt. But I just thought it was so ridiculous how, you know, up the arse she got through fucking, you know, through me just wanting to build, you know, take a fucking thing down and build a garden to remember my father who's passed, and also my father-in-law who's passed as well. It's got nothing to fucking do with her, you know, really. You could have had some fun with her, mate, I'll tell you. This is the sort of fucking person who, oh my god. Well, I'm glad it's over and done with. I don't need to ring the council tomorrow now. But I'll tell you something. I don't like her fucking attitude. I actually thought her attitude fucking stinks. You know, it really did. Her attitude was very, you know, sort of like I said, oh, I bought my house, so it's up to, you know, I want things my fucking way. I understand you want your money's worth. You want to get what you pay for. I get that. But what does a fucking shrub in my garden have to do with her when it's nowhere near hers? It's ridiculous. It really is. So yeah, any of you had neighbours like that before out there? Let us know if you have had a neighbour who's been a bit of a dick. I've just thought, like, you know, that's what my day's been like. It's just been one of those fucking days. Boston says, don't get me started. Okay. So we have our rooms built. We have our vans built. As far as caravan parks go, It's not too bad. It's a small little one, but you know, it'll do the job. That's what she said. So what I'm going to do now, because I won't be decorating these tonight, I wouldn't think. I'm just going to be filling these little gaps in and getting the grass down, and then we can concentrate on the decoration side of things on Tuesday. Yeah, so you know, it just amuses me how some people can be. It really does, you know. Roll on tomorrow when I can. And the thing about it is, though, when I do work out there, she ain't going to be there. She's going to be at fucking work. So that's going to be, you know, quiet. Unless that cunt goes round and starts fucking drilling and hammering a fucking again. You know. I'm getting sick of that. But that doesn't matter. You know, that doesn't matter if sort of like, you know, I've got, you know, if I want a nice chill day, you know, or something, and just relax, you know, and she's got him round, what, is that not okay, is it? You know, it was on the tip of my fucking tongue to say to her today when I had when she said about the whole fence thing, you know, I was on the tip of my tongue to say to her, am I allowed anything in my fucking garden? The only reason I haven't is because I've had shit with the neighbours before and I know how to play them. I haven't had shit with neighbours here, but at the other place I have, and I know how to play them, and I know their next move before they do, you know, and that's why I just sort of like, you know, just be like, yeah, okay, yeah, you know. It's alright though. It's alright. Thankfully though, it all worked out in the end and I got it all, you know, resolved and everything, but it shouldn't even have got that far. If she'd have kept it, it's like anything else. Like I said about a bloke, you know, when the other week when I went shopping, basically moaning because I was riding my bike on the path. So fucking what? You know, at the end of the day, if she'd have kept her fucking snout out, if she'd have kept her fucking beak shut, you know, then what would have been the problem? There would have been absolutely no problem, you know, but there you go. And it would have been up to me if I'd have ran into a problem with a, you know, stump on a shrub, you know, to take it out or not. It would have been up to me, you know, but the whole sort of like people who are sort of like, oh, you can't do that, you know. As much as I dislike my mother, she did make me laugh. She just said, just tell her to fuck off. My mum thought it was ridiculous because you could do whatever you want in your own garden, you know. I've only got to play it carefully till the 28th of April. That's when I've been in this house a year, and that's when my, you know, house is, my tenancy is a full tenancy. Because at the moment we're on a starter, because we haven't been with this council before, we're always with a different one. So, yeah. But my God, it does make you laugh. Just how hoity-toity fucking namby-pamby motherfuckers can be. You know. Oh yeah, mother is right, definitely. I actually agree with her. You know, it was on the tip of my tongue, but I've had problems with neighbours before. If I got too much, then yeah, sure, I'd say something. But sort of like, you know, it was just her. It was just her looking out for fucking wildlife and stuff like that, you know. And she did apologise at the end of it to sort of like, you know, being like her. But she said she's thinking of the birds and stuff. Well, I don't really care, you know. If I'm completely honest, I don't give two shits. You know, yes, birds are nice. Yes, wildlife is nice. I get it. It should be protected and all that stuff. I get it. But shouldn't I also be able to have what the fuck I want in my garden to honour the memory of my father and my father-in-law as well? Shouldn't I be able to have that? I should be able to have whatever the fuck I want in my garden. It should be a place of peace. It should be a nice place to be. Instead, you know, you've got somebody who's, you know, who sort of like thinks it's fucking, they can tell you what to fucking do. And that just amuses me so much. I've had it before where I used to live. I've had it fucking before. You know, there's I've had complaints before about a tree. When I used to get rid of rubbish, I used to, no, it was in no one's way whatsoever. I used to put it out in my front, on basically my front garden, just outside my garden gate at the old place. And they used to sit there, and I used to say, right, that can basically be there until I can afford to get it to go. And yeah, the housing association would come around and moan about it and want you to have it gone in 2 weeks, like you got the fucking money to do it. And, you know, you'd have neighbours complain about things. And it's never their fault, is it? Anything goes wrong, like, I don't know, if you were to get a rat or something in your garden, it's not their fault. It's always your fault. You know? It gets on my fucking tits, it really does. People like that really, really fucking test me. You know? But, you know, it is all over and done with. You know, I haven't got the, you know, I don't really mind. You know, the agreement we came to is, you know, it's all right. It's not too bad. I don't mind the agreement we came to. You know, but I didn't do it for her. I did it because of a less of a workload for me and wasting my fucking time. But I think she thinks I did it for her. Well, I didn't do it for that. You know, I did it because the guy who I was speaking to has had all that experience with plants and shit over the years. And I'm just like, you know what, I'll listen to him. Because, you know, it might be sound advice. And there's no way in hell that sort of like, you know, I mean, there's no way in hell I'm going to listen to her. If it was her saying it, I wouldn't give a blind bit of fucking notice. But it was this guy saying it, and that's why I listened. You know, you always get a neighbour somewhere. It doesn't necessarily have to be about a garden. It could be about noise. It could be about any fucking thing, you know. People these days, as we know, love to have a moan, love to have something to, you know, have a bee in their bonnet about, you know. People love it. They fucking thrive on it. They love being the sort of like, you know, the centre of attention and wanting the fucking limelight on them and, you know, them to be right. When half the time they're not. You know, half the time they're just chatting shit, you know. They're flapping the gums, you know. They're basically, they're talking but saying nothing. That honestly is what most of it is like these days. And yeah, there are rules and regulations to having things in your gardens and stuff with the council. I fucking know that. But this ain't my first fucking rodeo. You know, I know what I can and I can't do. Last year, I wanted to chop that fucking thing down and I couldn't. Because there was a pigeon nest in it and it's illegal to sort of like, you know, do anything if there's nesting birds in the tree. Or nesting birds in the shrub, whatever. There's no nesting birds in this one now. You know, they're all gone. It is springtime, but, you know, it's not sort of like, nothing's but sort of like gone in there and started creating a nest. There is a nest in there, but it's very old. You know, nothing's gone in there this year and created a nest. So I'm doing nothing illegal. I'm doing nothing, you know, that I shouldn't be. It's just people, you know. It's just people not liking something that you want to do. You know, well, I don't really, and you know, the biggest part of me is I don't give two shits if they like it or not. But I'm taking this guy's advice. You know, I'm taking his advice, and I'm going to be making the garden somewhere else, which is going to be an easier workload for me, because I'm going to put something else in against this fucking shrub, and because the neighbours who I got over the back, they're okay to talk to, but they're not very. I mean, these people don't even fucking do gardening. They let their garden fucking grow fucking wild, you know. And there's fucking shit you got to chop down and stuff like that, you know. If anything hangs over into my garden kind of thing, you know, I'm allowed to cut it back. But, you know, it's just insane. It really is. It really is. The whole fucking process, it's fucking nuts. You know. But there you go. And I'm going to be building this garden anyway. Come hell or high fucking water. If I have to build it out the fucking front, I will. I've got a massive fucking front lawn. You know. Depending on town or county. But Boston says most states depend on town or county. That would be a finable offence. Yeah. You know. It's just, but even that, fining you for something like that, when you're doing something that's going to make you happy, you know, fining you for something, it's just a money-making scheme, isn't it? It's all it really is. You know, there ain't no fucking chance that, you know, I don't need to ring the council anymore. I made a fucking agreement and that with her next door, and the whole issue should be dropped now, you know. And if she go and blab to the fucking council and I get a knock on the door, well, then I'll be saying, well, okay, then what about her? See, I've got shit on her as well. I'm always one step ahead. In this day and age, you have to be like that. You have to be one step ahead all the time. You can't be sort of like, you know, just letting them fucking do what they want to, because people will fucking string you up. You know, people will fuck you over. You know, the first chance they get, they'll fuck you over. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is nowadays. But there you go. She brought that house and the fence came with it. Well, at least it's fixed now, so I haven't got a wobbly fucking fence in my garden. And hey, if it's her fence and the whole thing blows down, then she'll have to pay for that. I'll have nothing to do with it, because I won't be giving two shits. So where am I going to take it from here? Am I going to do anything? Am I going to be like, fuck her and cut it down anyway? No, I'm not. I'm not going to be like that. You know, I could be. I could wait till she fucks off to work tomorrow morning, get my fucking saw out and cut the fucking lot down in one morning. You know, I could do that if I wanted to. But what's the point? There is no point to it. You know. I've got her, you know, be not kind and considerate, because I'm not that anyway. You know, I'll be nice to people if they're nice to me. That's as simple as that. Get on the wrong side of me and there ain't no motherfucker who can save you. You know, hell is coming for you. But I'm happy with sort of like, you know, everything that we've been through and arranged today. So it's all good. And yes, this is where it's dropped. That was the talking point. So if you watch this later on, you've ever had a neighbour who has told you can't do something in your garden, or you can't do this, can't do that, caused you any grief in any way, you know, let us know in the chat if you're watching, or alternatively, you can always drop it in the comment section and I'll give it a read. You know, because they're everywhere, these neighbours. Neighbours like that are literally everywhere. There's always somebody trying to fuck your day up. There really is. Especially, especially sort of like when, it doesn't suit them, but it's okay for them to do what they want. I could say I'm offended. I could be a fucking dick and say, well, I'm offended by your bird boxes. I don't give a shit about the bird boxes, Do I give a shit about the wildlife? Abso-fucking-lutely. We need wildlife, There are certain things that we need. I don't like fucking pigeons. They get on my tits. They shit everywhere and they make too much fucking noise. But as for anything else, I don't really mind. I like the things that other people's don't. I would be fascinated if a fucking if I saw a rat in my garden. I'd be fascinated. Because I like rats. I used to have tame ones as pets. I used to have pet rats. But it I don't know, man. It just sort of confuses the shit out of me why people, want to try and make your day, want to try and make your life more difficult. Life's difficult enough as it fucking is. Every day people face different fucking challenges, and then you got some cunt who's, you can't do this, you can't do that. Just fucking shut up, Boston says, I'd be really fascinated to see two mountain lions fucking each other. Well, I mean, that would be a sight. See one pussy getting some more pussy, I get that. It would definitely be a sight to behold, there is no doubt about that. But yeah, if you've got a neighbour who's moved in, they want to do something to their garden, don't be a dick. Don't kick up a shit about it and be sort of like, oh, you can't do that because of this, this and this. If it's something that isn't going to interfere with you and is going to make them happy and give them an easier life, then for fuck's sake, just let them do it. At the end of the day, you're not the one spending money on it. You're not the one, going through sort of doing things. Haven't even, you don't even have to go out there and help them. All you've got to do is just basically just have a Coke and smile and shut the fuck up, because you haven't got to say, there's no reason for you to say anything. There's just no need for any of it, really. There's no need for any of this, in this day and age. Why can't people get along? Why have people got to be pricks to each other, That's what I don't understand. Sure, you get people who are out there who are genuine fucking pricks. I know fucking plenty of them, But, and I know the sort of people who would, the sort of people who wouldn't help you do anything. They wouldn't even piss off on you if you're on fire, that kind of thing, Well, I think that's all of our grass down. Let's clear up. In the chat, Sean is in. Hello, Sean. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Hope you had a good weekend. You've just missed a fantastic talking point. I'll just give you a quick run through, Sean, of what we've been talking about, mate. So basically, it's to do with neighbours and how they can fuck you over and sort of be a dick to you and stuff, and and say that you can't do this and you can't do that in your own garden, in your own house. Have you ever had any problems with neighbours? You know, this is what tonight's talking point is all about. Neighbours basically from, not from hell, from a different fucking realm. Yeah. My neighbour isn't exactly a neighbour from hell, you know, I can't say that about her. You know, she's just a fucking hoity-toity fucker, you know, who fucking, you know, is just, her money speaks for her kind of thing. That's what that's the vibe I'm picking up with her. Your first one was, well, we've got a few minutes. What was your neighbour like, bro? Okay. Sean says, yes, when I was a kid, my mum used to be always falling out with neighbours, and they used to retaliate in not very nice ways. Yeah, some people are like that. Some people sort of like, you know, are the kind of people who, you know, want it their own way kind of thing all the time. Boston says, keep it short, just a total Satanist. Fuck. Okay. You know. Your mum wasn't always an angel. No. No one's mum really is, you know. I mean, you know, unfortunately we can't have those kind of mothers that you see on the hub, but you know, it's like, yeah, I get what you mean. I mean, when I was a kid, you know, we used to live next door to these people who, I mean, their kids would sort of like, I used to play with their kids sometimes. Everything used to be okay, but that was only at times. My mum never, ever got on with them, you know. Never got on with them. They were just stuck up, you know. It's just ridiculous, you know, how neighbours are. And people say we need to bring communities together. How can you bring communities together when basically you could be a good person and live around a bunch of dicks? You know, how the fuck? How could you do that? You know. You know, you'll find, I mean, who I used to live next door to, right? Now, in the end, they turned out to be okay. We used to go around and have beers with them on Friday night, you know, and it used to be pretty cool doing that. We used to go have a drink with them every Friday around their house, literally just next door, you know. So, you know, it was all good. And Sean says it may sound bad, but it's taught me to keep myself to myself. Keeping yourself to yourself is the best way. It always is. It's foolproof. You know, because, you know, a friendly sort of like hello here and there is fine. But it's when sort of like you start telling them your business and stuff like that, and, you know, and that. And they, half the time, like I said, they only want to fucking know, you know, who you are, what you're doing, where you work, what colour fucking your shit is, that kind of thing, you know. They don't really give two fucks. It's just something to talk about that then they can talk about with their friends, and then they can talk about with their fucking husbands or wives or whoever the fuck it is, you know, or both in some cases, you know. So, you know, it is like that. It is a bit of a, you know, conundrum, definitely. But we've had so many, I mean, so many shitty neighbours. Me and my wife used to live in a flat, and we used to live we used to live in a flat that was on the first floor, so it was up one flight of stairs. That's all it was. It was basically like a house, but just split into two kind of thing. So we had our own bit. We had the upstairs. The guy downstairs had that. Well, the other side of us was actually his sister. And Sean says, if they ask me for a cup of tea or a tea bag, then fine. If they want ask to come in and want to learn my life story, fuck off. Exactly. Exactly. You know, that is the way you have to be. Ruthless is the way nowadays. It is how you have to be. It is how the world has got and everything. You know, but yeah, where I used to live, this sister used to this brother used to live upstairs in the upstairs flat next door to us, and well, we couldn't do anything. If you put music on, she'd complain about it. If you played a video game after a certain time of night, she'd say that she could hear it and she'd bang on the wall. We ended up having to move our TV and put sort of like old mattresses behind our sofa to sort of like cushion sort of like the sound of you know, anything getting through. Sort of like we soundproofed it a little bit, like we using old mattresses and stuff. After that, we didn't really get anything, you know. But we used to have all sorts of shit. You know, and that's what these people do. That's what, you know, neighbours do. And I'm sorry, but there is no such thing as community. You know, especially like a neighbourhood community, there isn't. It doesn't exist. You get good people, you get bad people. Now, I do live around some good people. I mean, they haven't, apart from this weekend when she got up the arse about me wanting to chop a shrub down, she's not a bad person. You know, she's not a bad person, but you do see their true colours and what they're really fucking like. You know, she's not the sort of person to get angry as such by the looks of it. She's more the sort of person just to get snotty with you and be like a child, throw all the fucking toys out of the pram, you know what I mean? You know, that's the kind of person that I get that she is, you know. Now, that's the only thing she's complained about. Well, so not exactly complained, she's actually complained to me in person about it, which I would prefer her do than actually go fucking to the council or something and have to deal with them fuckers, you know. But I would prefer that, the way she did it. But I just thought it was such a shitty thing to complain about and such a childish thing to moan about when it's not even affecting her and it's something in my garden, you know. It's just fucking ridiculous. It really is. I mean, I never really got when I used to live in the flat. I never really got on with any of the neighbours there, you know. Sean says it's petty. It really is, you know. I never really got on with any of the neighbours when I lived in the flat. I knew one of them. He's an old boy. He's still kicking. He's still in the same flat now, you know. But you know, we've had fucking run-ins with them before and everything. But you see, the thing about me is I sometimes make the situation worse. I've had to learn how to deal with cunts like that. You know, had to learn how to deal with sort of like nuisance fucking neighbours who are going to complain about everything. No matter what you say or what you do, they're going to complain about it. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's jealousy. Maybe it's something else. I mean, when I told my mum about this incident this past weekend, that's what my mum said it was. That basically she's jealous you've got that plant in your garden, and so she don't want to see it cut down. Could be the case. It could be the case, you know. But you get them everywhere, guys. You get these neighbours everywhere. And there's nothing really that you can say or do. And there's nothing that they can say or do to redeem themselves either. You either are a good person or you're a cunt, you know. So you don't want to be around anyone who's a cunt. I've been around enough of them fuckers in my time, you know. And there's just no fucking need for it. There isn't any need for it whatsoever. Why be a dick to somebody? Why try and to make you feel better? You know, is that what they do it for? To make themselves feel better? You know, to give them an ego trip. Well, I told them and they did this. You know, well, fuck off. The only reason I'm keeping that shrub now is because, like I said, the garden bloke said I'll never get the stump out, and I'd need a stump grinder to do it, and I can't be fucking asked to fucking hire or buy one of them. So that's why I'm leaving it. So she hasn't. She might have thought she's won, but she hasn't. She hasn't won anything. It's just ridiculous. It really is. Right, so as soon as I finish painting this, then that will be the end of tonight's stream. So I'll be back on this on Tuesday night, and then Thursday will be wrestling, WWP, coming your way. And as I said, if you didn't catch the announcement at the beginning of tonight's stream, I'll be streaming, I've done tonight's. I'll be streaming on Tuesday. I'll be streaming wrestling on Thursday, and then after that, I will not be streaming anymore until the 12th of April, which is when I will be back. In the chat, Sean has put a comment in. Let's give it a read. He says, when we had trouble with the neighbours, we lived on a council estate, which was, let's say, not great. When you fell out with a neighbour, as in that case, my mum and the whole family used to get involved. It turns into war. Yeah, some families are like that. Some families their families back them up and stuff, and that when it is really nothing to do with them. You know, it has fuck all to do with anybody else. People just want to involve themselves in other people's business all the time. Well, to them people, instead of sticking your fucking trunk in other people's business where it doesn't belong, why the fuck don't you look at home and realise the problems in your family and things like that? Leave other people alone at the end of the day. There's no need to be a cunt, so don't be one. Simple as that. So there we go. That is our talking point. That is the announcement, and that is tonight's stream. I appreciate each and every single one of you who came in tonight. Thank you so much for coming and joining me on another one of these epic journeys around a caravan park. And Sean says, by the way, the trailer park is looking awesome. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. That is brilliant. Thank you so much. Okay, so so I'll be back on Tuesday finishing this off, and because I'm doing wrestling on Thursday, whether I am done or not, on Tuesday this place gets sold. Boston says, because people are too proud of their own and rather be concerned with other hypocrites. Well, yeah, that's just true. So there we go. Right, thank you once again for watching. Before we go, I don't know where she was tonight, but big shout out to Kathy. I hope you're okay, Kath. If you like to be called Kath. I hope you're okay, Kathy. Take good care of yourself. All the best to you. God bless you. To Pam, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're okay. God bless you as well. And also, that brings me on to the shout outs as well. Massive shout out as well to Sean for coming in as well. That's awesome, mate. Thank you so much for coming in. I really do appreciate it. The shout outs, well, we said Pam, so let's do Pam first. Now, if you want House Flipper 2, but you want it with a touch more artisticness and more, brilliantness, then you need to go and subscribe to Pam's Game TV. She is literally an artist. There is no other word to describe her. She does very intricate builds, small builds, but they look absolutely fucking like $1 million every single time that she has finished them. So please go subscribe to Pam's Game TV 2000. You will not be disappointed. If you still like House Flipper, then you want to go and check out The Other Side of the Pond. My brother from another mother, Mr. Boston Tea Party. He is an absolute fucking legend, in all aspects of life. He is a great, a fucking great brother, a great friend, and also he's an amazing house flipper as well. The king of the mansions is what we call our Boston. Absolutely fantastic stuff he builds. He is incredible at what he does. You know, the bougier, the better. That is Boston. So go and subscribe to him. Plus, ladies, you know, you want to see him get his hose out and squirt. You know, it's a pretty long hose, and there's a decent squirt on that. So, you know, you want to go check out Boston Tea Party? I think you do. Head over there, show some love, show some likes, and subscribe. Right. Thank you guys so much. I will be... Boston says, yeah, that will be done someday. And thanks for the show. You are more than welcome, my brother. You are more than welcome. God bless you. Right. To each and every single one of you out there, once again, cheers for coming in tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. I'll be back on Tuesday to see what we can do to this place, and we're going to sell it no matter what on Tuesday. So join me for it. It's going to be awesome. Sean says good night, see you all soon. Good night, mate, take care, God bless you. And I will be back on Tuesday. So to each and every single one of you out there, take care of yourselves, be good, don't be a dick, you know, and look after each other, and God bless you all. Thank you so much, guys. Cheers and good night, everybody.